there, it's your girl Zerochi, and welcome to episode 9 of my guitar collection. On this one, we're going to be talking about the only 7-string guitar that I have, which is the older model of the Holcomb PRSs. This is the SE model, so it's not as good as, the American models, but I still think it plays really, really good. When I bought this, I actually absolutely fell in love with it. As with most of my guitars, I got it used, so I didn't pay full price. It didn't have any modifications really done to it. The old owner replaced the nut on it, which I hear is a problem with these guitars, so I'm glad that they did that. And they replaced the volume and tone knobs with some Hipshot knobs. I don't think it looks all that different than the normal one, so I've just never had a desire to replace them with different ones. The interesting part about this guitar is it has the older pickups, so it's got the alpha and the omega pickups in it. I find these to actually be insanely high output when I'm mixing in my DAW and stuff like that. I have a tendency to have to turn this guitar down way more than any of my other guitars, which is a good thing for passive pickups because generally I struggle with output on a lot of the passive pickups. So I was really happy to see that these pickups have really, really high output and they're able to make all the sounds that I want them to make. The other cool part is it's got the coil tap on it. So you can get those single coil sounds if you're trying to do like some progressive thumping or anything funky like that. It can make some really cool sounds for that. The one thing that has kind of been a quirk about this guitar that I'm not a huge fan of is the two pickups have very different outputs. So the bridge pickup is super duper high output, but the neck pickup isn't nearly as high output. So it's just kind of hard to deal with that in like a live setting because your bridge pickup is so hot that when you switch to the neck, the volume just drops off. And it's not a huge problem if you're recording or what have you, but it can be a problem if you're playing in a live setting. So it's still the only 7-string that I own. I've really just enjoyed it a lot. I've tried it in tunings from B standard all the way down to drop G, and it sounds really good in all of those different tunings. And I'm really a huge fan of it. I know a lot of people like the new Holcomb guitar with the new pickups in it. I haven't had a chance to try it or do like a shootout of that guitar with this guitar. And to be honest, I'm kind of putting a pause on purchasing guitars because I have way too many of them already. Well, there's no such thing as too many guitars, but when you're like, oh man, I gotta change strings again, that's when you're starting to get to the point where like you got a lot of guitars, so you might not want to have more guitars. But anyway, this has been a really awesome 7-string guitar for me, and I'd recommend picking one up if you can't afford the newer one or if you can't find the newer one used. These are still really, really great guitars even though they're older. Until next time, stay happy, my friends.